As part of San Antonio's tricentennial celebration, various Asian groups celebrated at La Villitia last night. The East Meets West event was also to show the growth and influence of the Asian American culture in our city. Eyewitness News reporter Sharon K was there and has this report.
This event is hosted by the Asian American Alliance of San Antonio, an organization established in 2014. We have 18 member organizations.
We come from different parts of the world, but of course we have a common culture, which is dancing, which is music, and that is what brings all of us together.
The goal is really trying to be part of the tricentennial celebration, but also to educate people from San Antonio about our culture, to come and enjoy our food, our performances, and just to have a good time. I think this is very good that San Antonio is a place that we have a lot of diversity, and I think we should celebrate that, but also hopefully people get to know each other. Oftentimes all this conflict comes with ignorance of knowing about different culture and background, and hopefully we can help improve that.
I think that was great because, they saw everything from a different perspective. We don't get to see this kind of stuff overall, but I think that was great that there was different people coming out to the event and seeing what we truly are.